bees are dying, and our survival depends on them. That's why 4RB's created the Pure Wave Cell, a breakthrough quantum device proven to help hives thrive, doubling colonies and boosting honey production naturally. Every jar of our Pure Wave honey fuels this mission, supporting beekeepers worldwide. Visit 4RBs.com. That's the number 4OurBees.com, and use code WITF for 20% off. Save the bees. Save us all!
Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone, actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Hey.
For another round of crazy news in the world. And then a little bit later at 8, we're going to be getting into the Carrington effect and other geomagnetic anomalies. We've got, let's see, we've already got a couple people in the chat.
Yes, here. Crystal, you are.
I told her that last night. Yeah.
Yes, you are. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here with us. We'll try to get started on a little bit of a light note because the news is kind of abysmal. But let me play this video if you haven't seen it. Cincinnati's actually trending, and I was talking to Morgana about this before the show, and I think this is why. But check this out.
Something's going down in Cincinnati, Ohio. These motherfuckers in Cincinnati, Clifton, all around Cincinnati are saying that they're hearing weird noise all hours of the day, all hours of the night. And they have no idea what it is, and no one can explain what it is. Watch this.
People are hearing in Northside, Clifton, and Camp Washington is unusual.
With a lot of that city noise, a lot of it becomes pretty regular and you get pretty used to it. So when something like this that's pretty foreign, it kind of stands out to you.
This sound is keeping people up at night. Brendan Markham says last night was the loudest it's been in Northside.
It almost didn't stop for a couple hours.
The duration varies from a few seconds to several minutes, and it's difficult to describe.
We were hearing this like siren-like quality noise, whirring, oscillating up and down.
The Herald started hearing the sounds 2 weeks ago in Clifton.
My son came up to me and said, "Dad, the tornado sirens are going off."
And it's been happening every night since.
Usually it starts at about 10 p.m. It can go till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., but it's quite unpredictable.
The battles have begun. They've begun, and this isn't just in Cincinnati. The only thing happening that's different in Cincinnati is the noises, but this shit is happening everywhere. All of the fucking lights. I've seen the purple lightning for the first time since the summer from the Galactic War. This is fucking part 2.
The Galactic War. Now, in all seriousness, I personally and my wife both witnessed purple and green lightning here in this area in Cincinnati. So she's not lying.
Right. Yeah. But so
she's just maybe a little fanatical about it.
so that's where it's all starting. Cincinnati. I never knew it was really an epicenter. Wow. That's cool as hell.
That's a cloaked ship. That's orbs and high-tech weaponry. Watch this. There's nothing y'all can say. I'm sorry for the naysayers. There's nothing y'all can say anymore. Sorry. Sorry to break it to you, but yeah.
She may be a little fanatical, but this stuff really is happening. And whenever I saw this earlier, I sent it to my neighbor, and the neighbor said that they have heard that noise, that they've attributed it to a factory.
Uh-huh.
But Clifton is probably like 30 miles from me. So I don't think it would be like the residual, like 30-mile noise, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I would think if it were a factory that it would be something they would be used to hearing at least sometimes.
Yeah. And people are only hearing it like in the evening and at night.
Mhm.
Very bizarre. Let me see. I actually may have one more. This ain't a feel good, but it's another video that's relevant to stuff that we talk about pretty
Mhm.
frequently. Landa forgot to tell me, but if you don't already follow us, smash that follow button. And we don't care about likes, but just give us a follow. I agree, Landa.
Yes, absolutely.
If she hadn't rolled out with the Space Federation, maybe that would have went a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you hear about this? I'm going to throw this in before you do the video because it doesn't really sideways maybe. China is in the process of installing the world's strongest gravity centrifuge that can compress time and space. Did you hear about
Yep. We actually talked about that, but it's been like 6 months ago.
Right. Well, evidently they started the process of getting it set up.
Well, and we've got that story where they're loading up ICBMs too, which is pretty weird that they're just all of a sudden loading up hundreds of intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Yeah. Yep. Landa, you're just going to have to start getting on here so you can keep him in line.
She does. She does. She keeps us all in line. Okay, so we've talked about this place and this person before. So this is going to be a shock factor to anybody familiar with this place and person. But this happened today.
A friend of mine, Chad Ollinger, and one of the stars of the TV show on the Discovery Channel, Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch, just allegedly murdered his cellmate in a Las Vegas prison. So I used to hang out with Chad Ollinger, his dad, Dwayne. This is me at the Blind Frog Ranch outpost hanging out with Chad. And I've been at the outpost and up at Blind Frog Ranch doing research. It's only like 25 miles north of Skinwalker Ranch. And apparently he skipped some charges. He had a contempt of court charge. The rumor is that it was drug related. He got picked up on some assault and battery thing and he had drugs or something like that with him. So he got had a warrant out for his arrest because he didn't show up for his court dates. And then they finally picked him up. They booked him into the jail. He was set to get released on January 12th. His charges were not even that severe. But apparently the day after Christmas, Chad murdered his cellmate. And the reasons for it are absolutely crazy. When the guards and the investigators went in and they started talking to him, the first thing that he said was, well, good luck cracking this case. when they found the body of his cellmate basically beaten to death in the cell with him. Yeah, he was set to be released on January 12th. His charges were not even that severe. He could have easily gotten out in a couple of weeks, but instead.
And we don't have to listen to this whole thing, but so he told the police that he beat the guy up because he got a telepathic message that the dude was a pedophile.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know if that's why the other guy was in jail.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But you think about everything crazy that's happened at Blind Frog Ranch and all the stuff that they've experienced from weird police interactions and stuff.
Yep.
This is going to sound crazy. This might be like Looney Tunes, like the other lady, but I could see them, like, especially if they're like stumbling on something, I could see them like pinning him because they got him into prison. They just needed to keep him in prison, and he was getting out in 10 days. So why would you kill somebody if you're getting out of prison in 10 days?
Uh-huh.
I don't think he
Yeah.
gets I don't think he gets out of prison.
No, no, never. And like I said, who's to say that there wasn't something, going on?
The other people involved in that show, need to be asking questions and taking care to
Mhm.
make sure that they're not compromised in those situations.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. And evidently a bunch. Okay, that's in Florida. That's not where they're at. Is it? No, he's in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Chad Ollinger, I think is
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah, I found him. I was just trying to see if I could find the other guy because his name's Christopher Kelly.
To see what his charges were.
They have not revealed that. So that even makes you more curious.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if he wasn't, you would think they would immediately say, no, he was not. Guy's out of his mind. We don't know why he did this. But
Well,
they're
no,
not
and it
releasing
sounds
it.
crazy. It sounds crazy every time we say beam voices into people's heads, but there are literal approved patents for that technology. It's not
Yep.
just a conspiracy theory.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, that'll get us started out of the gate anyway.
Yeah, fun. Because, why should we have a real feel good on a Friday?
Hey, the aliens wasn't all bad.
No, it wasn't. That was very entertaining. And the lightning is cool as hell. I'll be honest with you.
That lady herself is a feel good.
Yes, she was. She reminded me a little bit of the lady that remember the one that nobody ain't got time for that a few years ago.
Yeah.
She kind of reminds me a little bit of that.
Kind of whimsical.
Yeah. And hey, you need those kind of people to keep you entertained. So I guess we
Crystal,
just go ahead.
It started out as like a tool of war. So think like if you're in a war with people, and let's say like the countries we were in, and people are religious zealots. Imagine if you could beam into their head like they're God saying something to them, like to stand down, like it's God's will to stand down. They started to experiment with this type of stuff all the way back in Vietnam. They would play stuff over super loudspeakers, claiming to be local folk deities at night and screaming, and it kind of evolved from there. And I'll have to find the patent number. I probably can't do it off the rip. Maybe next show, since we're going to be talking about frequencies and stuff. I'll look it up while Morgana and Steven are talking about something, because it's not just the government. I'm pretty sure that Apple holds a patent to translate thoughts via the earbuds.
Yeah, that's we talked about that not too awful long ago.
Yeah. So if they can translate thoughts, why wouldn't they be able to send them?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I know it all sounds crazy until it's just like the phones listening were a conspiracy forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like when cell phones first started getting super popular, people were like, these are definitely listening to us. And everybody's just living in a fantasy land about it until Snowden came out and risked his life to tell everybody about it.
What was it? Last week. It was a day or so before Christmas. I was reinstalling. I had to replace a hard drive and a laptop. And when I went back there and was setting it back up, he comes over to talk to him. I'm like, why have you got that piece of tape over your camera? So people can't watch. I'm like, you have a phone, right? Well, yeah. And I just shook my head and finished what I was doing. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you are giving them everything they need right there. Yep. So why bother covering your mic? Give them what they want. Just talk shit to them.
Yeah, Crystal, I'll next show when we're talking about or here at the top of the hour when we're talking about the frequencies and stuff.
Where was it a few months ago, Tully, that you had one where somewhere overseas it was like a big massive group that it like people were passing out and stuff, and it was sound frequencies that
I think that was in the global control episode, maybe that we were talking about that.
Maybe it was, yeah, because I remember us talking about that.
Yep, they frequency weapons, right? Is what you mean?
Yes. Yep.
There's sound frequency weapons. Do you remember those big protests that happened like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
They have these weapons like in Chicago and stuff, the bigger cities, for riot control, where it's literal like frequency weapons that deter people from gathering.
Yep. It's supposedly a violent free way.
Yeah.
Till it starts busting people's eardrums and stuff.
Yeah. Or scrambling their brains.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. So
well, the kind of the benchmark for the show, like a country is born. This kind of blew my mind when I was reading about this, but on December 26th, so the day after Christmas, Israel formed a new country. They came forward to formally recognize Somaliland as an independent and sovereign country. And this is after 3 decades of the breakaway region's quest for international legitimacy since declaring independence from Somalia in 1991. The announcement included establishing full diplomatic relations with plans for embassies and cooperation in areas like agriculture, tech, and security, framed in the spirit of regional peace. Now,
that was my favorite part.
Did they seem like the people who are striving for international peace? Hey, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
You just missed the reading our brains conversation, and we're on to Somaliland. But this has sparked a huge backlash. Somalia condemned it as an unlawful violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. There's large protests happening across Somalia about this, apparently. And there's an emergency UN council meeting where most members criticize the decision as a threat to regional stability. And I was trying to research before the show, like, why does Israel care about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's that little strip of land between them and somebody, right, that they're trying to take over. This is like thousands of miles away.
Yeah, all I could find, there's a port that they have that they would like to control, and what else was it? A military base. But I couldn't really find any like weird things. It is, which I didn't put this in this week. I'm sure everybody, we try to do underreported stuff. I'm sure everybody's heard about all the drama going on with like the Somali like American tax money. Whenever I saw this, I'm like, could that be connected? Like, what if that's just another funnel to Israel somehow?
Yeah. Well, it says that it's a strategic location on the Red Sea, but there are, plenty of strategic locations that they can pick without just saying, hey, it's like we were talking about, cities or counties being able to take your land if I go and pay your taxes, and I don't get a notification saying, hey, Tully paid your taxes. If you don't come and pay it this week, we're giving him your land. Can
anybody just announce new countries?
Well, evidently Israel can.
That's crazy. Yeah, Landa, there's a YouTuber that went to, I think it was Minnesota, made a docuseries about shell companies that are taking a bunch of tax money, and it ended up being Somali related, I think. It's just crazy. Like, it seemed like Somalia just started blowing up all over the news in the past 2 weeks, related to all kinds of stuff. And now Somaliland
is all of a sudden a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It's
just
like,
seems too perfectly timed to be just a coincidence.
yep.
Or if they knew about the tax money, maybe they were behind exposing it so that they're
Well,
not getting as much
here's
money or
another
something.
thing I just found. Somaliland has untapped mineral resources.
That seems to be a trend lately too, with
Uh-huh.
Venezuela and Nigeria,
Yep. And now Somaliland. So
Somaliland. But yeah, this is just kind of a drag of Iran, Israel, Somali stuff that we have for the first little bit today.
yeah.
If you want to, yeah, I'll let you
Yeah,
hit the
I'll
next one.
grab the next one. So, the godfather of Israeli cybersecurity said it's time to limit free speech. So,
This was on
Shlomo,
TV, by the way. Like it,
yeah. So, this wasn't, yeah. So, Shlomo Kramer is an Israeli American entrepreneur and investor in the cybersecurity industry. He was born in '66 and co-founded the Checkpoint Software Technologies in '93, which became a leading provider of firewalls and network security solutions and went public in '96. He later co-founded Imperva, a data security company acquired by Thoma Bravo in 2019, and is currently the co-founder and CEO of Cato Networks, a cloud-based secure access service edge platform valued at around $2.5 billion as of 2021. Probably add significantly to that over the last 4 years.
yeah.
So Kramer is often referred to as the godfather of Israeli cybersecurity due to his pioneering role in the field, and his net worth is estimated in the billions from his ventures and investments. Regarding his comments on limiting the First Amendment, Kramer made the remarks during a January 2026 appearance on CNBC's Money Movers program, where he discussed how artificial intelligence is set to revolutionize cyber warfare. In the interview, he argued that governments need to exert more control over social media platforms to combat AI-driven threats like misinformation and manipulation. Specifically, he stated, "I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it," emphasizing the need to control all the social platforms and take control of what they are saying. The comments sparked widespread backlash online, with critics accusing him of advocating for authoritarian censorship and questioning why a foreign billionaire is opining on the U.S. constitutional rights.
That's kind of crazy.
And it's a damn good question.
It's kind of wild to hear anybody say that, especially a foreign national that they're allowing on TV in America.
And, I'd love to say, oh, this couldn't happen here, but I see it every day. We're getting more and more limited, on what we can say and not. And I've always said, we've talked about this a million times, we do still have First Amendment rights in this country. But it just seems like over the last year and a half, 2 years, the punishment is way more than what the crime is. I mean, it's getting to the point where you can't just disagree.
Really, since 2020.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole, or 2019 COVID.
Yeah.
Like as soon as all that, whether you're right or wrong, whether you sound like a lunatic, you should be able to have a voice.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're not threatening to harm people, I don't care. I may not like you, but I can change the channel or block you or whatever.
Yeah, which there's like additional laws to supplement for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think, if anything, there should just be elaborations rather than restrictions.
Right.
Like you want to know who the pieces of crap are. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like I said, and that's really, I've seen that a lot. Just like say over the last couple of years, it just seems like it's getting worse and worse, is the fact that I can disagree with you on social media and there be repercussions just because I didn't say what you liked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go find your employer. I'm going to report you to them and yada, 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 yada. Well,
that's exactly what's happening in Europe.
Yeah.
Every day,
exactly.
People are getting arrested over Facebook comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Calling somebody a clown or whatever. Like
exactly.
you
should be able to call somebody a clown. I mean, come on, if the shoe fits.
I'm telling you, when you listen to people try to defend that from like Britain and stuff. They're like,
Mhm.
You have free speech, but you don't have the freedom to offend people. And I'm just like, well, that's not free speech.
No, it's not. Like I said, I do, like I said, there is a line there that I think that once you cross that particular line, then you lose that. If you're talking about going in and banging up a place, or, talking about, well, somebody should take all those people out and I'll lead the, charge. Yeah, no, okay, you've crossed the line.
Yeah.
But I should be able to say, Tully, I don't like that damn hat. It's ugly.
Yeah. I mean, that's an opinion.
Exactly.
Not a threat or, whatever.
Yes.
You're not threatening to hurt anybody.
Nope. And you made a good point. I never really thought about it that way until you made the comment one time. I want to know who the bigots and the racists are. That way I know who not to have anything to do with.
And it's that's always been, and you historically, we've always had it in America, like mutually assured destruction. So you have mutually assured destruction, which typically translates into mutual respect for your fellow person. As long as everybody are equals in the eyes of the law. And that also applies to the First Amendment. Like you can't censor some people and not censor other people.
Right.
Because that creates even more division. And it created a huge divide.
Yep.
But yeah, that it's just wild to see these people on TV saying this.
I know. That's because that's one thing that I did used to say. I said, one thing that I did like from 15 years ago, at least most people that were extremely bigoted and stupid kept their mouths shut because they didn't want to get embarrassed. Now there's none of that. No. It's just like, you're like, wow, you just said that out loud and in public. So, whatever.
Well, yeah.
But,
it's freedom of speech, not freedom of consequence. And but I still wouldn't put that person in jail. But if they get slapped or something, that might be. Right. I'm not gonna be sad about it.
And I'm probably gonna go, well, dumbass, you kind of asked for it.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. So. Anyway, did you hear that we're in full out war with Iran?
Yeah, they're trending today.
Yeah. Yep. The president, Mossad Pezeshkian, pretty sure that's it, stated in an interview that his country is engaged in a full-scale war with the United States, Israel, and Europe. He described the conflict as multifaceted, involving economic sanctions, cultural influences, political pressures, and security threats, claiming it is more complex and damaging than the 1980 to 88 Iran-Iraq War. He argues that these actions aim to destabilize and prevent Iran from standing strong, while asserting that their military is now more capable following earlier confrontations. So the remarks came amid heightened tensions after a brief but intense 12-day air war in June of 2025 between Israel and Iran, during which the U.S. joined in striking the Iranian nuclear facilities, military sites, and leadership targets, resulting in significant casualties. They retaliated with missile barrages but faced heavy losses. His comments were made just before a meeting between the president and Israel's prime minister, where Iran's nuclear program and potential further actions were expected to be discussed, with warnings issued on both sides about any renewed aggressions. Yeah.
It just feels like, we had that episode where we went through all of the Iranian missile scares.
Yeah.
We bombed the hell out of them, and they're still talking about the boogeyman. Yeah. What are you talking about? You just said 2 months ago that all their facilities were destroyed.
Yeah. And this little man in Israel is the same person that's been making these screams for 40 years. I mean, we had videos going all the way back to the 80s of Netanyahu saying, oh, they're going to blow up tomorrow and destroy the world. Okay, that's another one of those places where you can disagree with something and not be against a people. So I do not like Netanyahu. I think he is holding a lot of power for such a small person and a small country. That has nothing to do with the people of Israel. That is all about that.
No, but they marry those two things together, though.
Yes, they do.
And it's getting worse. Like,
Yes,
it's getting a lot worse because, you know, every president since Kennedy has worshipped them.
Yes.
And given them tons of money. And
well, it bothers me on a big level that they have universal health care. They have free college. You know, they have all that stuff, and our citizens don't. But we're sending billions to them every year.
Every citizen has a trust.
Yes.
And to when they're 18, I think 18 or 21 or something, they get it to inject money into the economy pretty much, like for start a business or spend it on stuff.
Yep. Now they do. Every Israeli child does have to go into the military for 2 years when they turn 18. They are not put in, you know, war zones and stuff like that. It would be kind of like what our National Guard does on a day-to-day basis. And I don't have a problem with that. You know, I think that, you know, I know personally some 18-year-olds that would have probably benefited very much from a couple of years of that, you know, but that still doesn't, you know, I just don't get, you know, like, no, we do get it. We've talked about it before. They've probably got more intel on more people in places of power than anybody under the sun. There's got to be something. Got to be. You know, and when we look back at Maxwell and all the pull he had and everything. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're too intertwined. Like, somebody needs to step in and, you know, honestly, I think if there were any, which there aren't any real politicians, I don't believe for a second that there are any real politicians that exist on a federal level anyway.
No.
But if there were, like, if somebody somehow could make it past that wall without being, you know, sued into oblivion by one of these super PACs or whatever, I think all they would have to say is no more money. No more of your money goes to other people, like outside of our tribe. You know what I mean? Like our they can come here, but we're not sending money there. Like, and there's avenues that they could come here if they wanted to.
But
I just nobody will ever make it to that point, though.
No, we can't even get term limits passed. You know, everybody talks about it, but then they get in office and it's like, oh, well, just one more term.
Well, it's because everybody that gets in is like 80 years old. So of course they're not going to be like, well, no, we're not putting age limits on ourselves.
Right. You know, but career politics is an oxymoron, or should be. You know, if you were doing it for the reason that it was originally set up for this country to serve the people, you'd want to get in and out in 8 years. You wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but they don't they need to let me and you run it for just 6 months.
I'm telling you, nobody would be able to do anything. Like, even if you wanted to, you're just going to get stopped. And by the time you were to, your finger would be close to the button and your term would be up.
But see, you'd also have to go in with, okay, these are the things I'm putting in place, and the person that comes after me cannot go in and get rid of it with a signature.
Yeah, that could be a double-edged sword, though.
Yes, it could.
Because the next person, if that were the case, could come in and be like a
World
War
me and
II
you
era person.
Oh, no. Only me and you. The stuff we put in place cannot be written off with a signature. Everything else has to go through the proper channels.
That might work.
what are proper channels.
What? Yeah.
So,
So I just threw this in here because I have no idea. I don't even know what this means.
mhm.
Like reading it won't help you understand what it means. But the New York City mayor that's on his way out, he said that he's vowing to fight anti-Semitism with cryptocurrency after leaving office. And that was all over headlines, and he didn't really get into how. That just seems like a bizarre thing to say. How would you even do that?
Well, and how does that tie in with his post office activities of writing a book, traveling, and pursuing educational initiatives?
I don't know, but he said it, and people were reporting on it, so I figured I would throw it in here. I don't even know what that means, though.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
How do
Like
you
I say,
fight anything with cryptocurrency other than maybe monetary control? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. So, I think we need to get rid of some of the digital money. You know.
Yeah. Well, some of it has kind of become. You remember the EFTs or whatever, NFTs, the non-fungible tokens.
Right.
I think all that was money laundering, like
Oh, yeah.
art money laundering.
I think a lot of it is money laundering because, I mean, how would you know otherwise? It's not like you can trace it.
Well, the cartel has always been a huge proponent of crypto. Like
Mhm.
even from the beginning, like Silk Road on the dark web, that was their currency. Like you couldn't use
Yep.
money.
Yep.
Well, other than crypto.
Right.
Yep. And we mentioned that China loaded 100 ICBMs, but could that be related to UFO stuff? Or do they know something's coming that we don't know?
Well, they're closer to the Netherlands than we are, so maybe, I don't know. So, but just jumping over that. So, how's it going with Boeing?
I can't believe that. After all the airplane crashes.
I was going to ask you, and I was thinking about this before I left work today. I'm like, I wonder how it's going with Boeing. And then I sat down and started reading this. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So Boeing over the past year has had planes just falling out of the sky, blowing up on the tarmac. And they were just awarded an $8.6 billion contract by the Pentagon for F-15 jets. Now, let me, do you have a calculator?
I do. Hang on, let me open it up. Okay, gotcha. Give me the number.
8.6 billion divided by 25.
Okay, 8, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 6. Okay, that's it. 8.6 billion divided by 25. 344 million
per plane.
Okay, explain that to me like I'm 6.
So this is more of a, you remember like how we always talk about currency starting, like there was a rock and I have a perceived value of that rock.
Uh-huh.
And then we negotiate based on the perceived value of that rock.
Uh-huh.
The raw materials in that aircraft, just like a car, when you go to scrap a car, they only give you like $500 or something for the actual scrap metal of the car. The reason the car is worth anything to begin with is because it drives and there's a perceived value. The actual physical materials to make these jets, I would say $10,000 is probably pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 20, 25. I mean, aircraft are big, but you know, if a car scraps for $500,
mm-hmm.
Do you think it'd be more than 20 grand for a scrap on a plane?
Well, they're saying that it's due to the extremely stringent certification, testing, and documentation required.
So perceived value.
Yes, that's all it is.
So
Okay,
you've got probably 20 grand in materials and $300 million in perceived value.
yeah, parts to build an aircraft. No, not hobby drone. Okay, a home built plane. No, okay. A large jet that involves massive expenses. The engines can cost up to 5 million. But still, because they say that
Okay.
there are over 1 million parts in a jet.
I just don't think it's 300
That's still
million.
fair, but that's 340 million more than the parts.
Okay, let's go crazy here. Let's say it's $40 million
Mm-hmm.
in raw materials.
Uh-huh.
That's still 300 more. That's just perceived value.
Yes. Yes.
And it's being paid by us. I mean, we give all the money to them and they're just giving us some of it back for this.
Yeah. I've never been on a jet airplane, so I think that that is not correct. I'm getting nothing from it.
Yeah, well, these are warplanes.
I know.
These are like fighter jets, like 2-seaters.
And they're not ours, though.
No.
They're going to Israel.
Well, and so the Pentagon did that, and then this week they just failed their 8th year of audit in a row.
I know. Oh my God.
So I don't know how we are trusting the Pentagon to do anything, especially when they're awarding an $8 billion, almost $9 billion contract to a company who's had airplanes falling out of the sky for the last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, if I'm being honest, even Israel, like if I'm them, I'm like, you're not building my planes.
No,
like, what are you
I'm going to
talking
go over
about?
here to Russia. There's shit that hadn't fell out of the sky recently. The last one of theirs that fell out of the sky got shot down.
Yeah.
So,
It's just,
let's not forget the Boeing spaceship.
Oh yeah, the Boeing spaceship, they were stuck in space.
What, 9 months, 10 months?
Yeah, they're stuck in space for almost a year because of Boeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Pentagon has promised that by 2028 they'll be able to pass an audit.
Really?
I don't know why they just don't do like everybody else and just cheat. Like, you know what I mean? At this point,
at least make it look good.
Everybody's laundering money and paying for things sideways. Like, I don't even know why they try to say that there's a problem. They should just be like, "Oh, there's no problem here."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Atlanta, I guess. Crystal, I don't even think you've been here long enough. Every week there for a while, we covered some huge crash of a Boeing plane. And every week there was a segment on how it's going with Boeing.
And then we had a dear friend who got onto a Boeing and flew to Florida.
Yep. Yep.
In the midst of all of that. That's what was bad.
But yeah, there is one more thing I wanted to get to before we take a break. I thought this was weird. I saw this week. It took effect on January 1st, but California is requiring chemicals be added to tortillas. And it's a weird thing. Like I had no idea that I guess it's a federal mandate that folic acid be added to wheat-based products.
Corn. Well, in this case, in California, it's masa.
Yes. The new law is for corn masa flour, but it says federal rules since 1998 mandate folic acid in wheat-based products, but not corn masa, leaving a health gap. They're saying that the goal of this is to reduce neural tube birth defects like spinal bifida and anencephaly in disproportionately affected Latino communities where corn masa is a dietary staple. But here's the rub. Rather than getting the folic acid from folic acid is the same thing well, not the same thing, but it's a replicant for vitamin B9, which is found in
Mhm.
leafy greens.
Yep.
And rather than like grinding up greens powder and adding that to this stuff, they are doing a synthetic version of folic acid that's made through chemical synthesis, and it's actually a petrochemical derived. So meaning that it's ultimately derived from oil.
Yeah. Like Crisco.
Yeah, and they're saying it yields a stable oxidized compound designed for supplements and enrichment. But to me, it sounds like another, just like Crisco, another byproduct that they're just looking to put somewhere.
Yeah. And I always hear that, you need folic acid for, for like blood pressure and all these other things, but that's not something your body
Yeah, leafy
produces.
greens.
Yeah.
Vitamin B9, you can get it from leafy greens. They could be using greens powder, like natural
Mhm.
sources for this.
Yep.
And if I'm being honest here, was it? I'd be curious, like if this was disproportionately affecting Latino communities. I haven't heard anything from them, like
I
being like
have not either.
slamming their fists on the table, being like, "Why can't we have
Yeah.
chemicals in our corn masa?" You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
why
And
do
the
you
thing
get
about
chemicals and we don't
here's
get any
the other
chemicals?
thing though, and I'm going to throw this argument out there. The other place that you get this is from beans, and the Hispanic community also uses a ton.
One of the most bean heavy
Yes.
cooking.
So why would they? And citric, So I don't understand why they would be disproportionately affected.
It smelled like BS to me. As soon as I saw the
It kind of
headline,
does. It really kind of
soon
does.
as I saw the headline, I thought it was BS.
I mean, look, fruits, oranges, bananas, melons, papaya, avocado, mango, pomegranate. Over half of those
Are
are,
staples.
yes.
Like Mexican staples.
Yes.
South American staples.
Yeah. Poultry, eggs. I mean,
It
come
just
on.
feels like somebody got lobbied by the chemical group that makes folic acid, the synthetic
Yeah.
version.
If you want to see it, if it has enriched on the packaging, that means it is using chemical synthetic folic acid. Because I did have a nutritionist tell me, I would prefer that you eat something else besides rice, just because it is a starch and it does tend to, turn into a sugar when you're diabetic. But as long as you just promise me you will never buy enriched rice, because that is the most useless product on the market today.
Yeah.
It has no nutritional value.
Yeah. And a lot of I don't know, I've even noticed that like jasmine and basmati, it seems like if you go back like 10, 15 years, they were a lot more fragrant back then and flavorful.
Yep.
The quality of our food has just incrementally declined. And I actually came across a video today. You remember we watched the dude that used all the real ingredients to recreate something?
Uh-huh. Yep.
He did Oreos today.
Did he? Yeah, it was McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did Oreos and it was awful. Like absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And when you see the process, you're like, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. See, Landa, the only thing about Whole Foods, and I agree that, organic is not really that much more expensive, but there's not one within 120 miles of my house. So, I mean, and the things that I would buy from Whole Foods aren't things that you can easily have shipped, because, I would want meats and produces and stuff like that. But, it is what it is.
Yeah,
We had one, but South Alabama decided they didn't need a Whole Foods. So
we've actually gave you like 10 extra minutes of global effery, global news hellscape.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then at the top of the hour, we're going to have the Steven Show, where he talks about the Carrington event for an hour.
Yep.
And geomagnetic anomalies. But I'll get us going here. I'm
Okay.
just going to mute us real quick.
Okay.
But wait, there's more! The bees are dying, and our survival depends on them. That's why 4RB's created the Pure Wave Cell, a breakthrough quantum device proven to help hives thrive, doubling colonies and boosting honey production naturally. Every jar of our Pure Wave honey fuels this mission, supporting beekeepers worldwide. Visit 4RBees.com. That's the number 4OurBees.com, and use code WITF for 20% off. Save the bees! Save us all!
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Strange Frequencies,
Or the Steven Show.
the Steven Show.
Yeah. I've been accused of being the weird magnet before. So,
Yeah, even Landa said it's the Steven Show tonight.
That's right. So we have high expectations.
oh my goodness.
So
What are
tonight
we even talking about tonight?
we're going to be
never
talking
tuned
about
into some of
the Carrington event and other geomagnetic anomalies.
Oh, okay. The Carrington event. Okay, cool.
So
Cool.
Bigfoot and the Carrington event, Stephen's wheelhouse.
There you go. There you go. That's it. Yeah. Oh man.
So what are your thoughts on the Carrington event, Stephen?
Well,
Well, I guess we should probably give some background.
okay.
It happened. It was an extreme geomagnetic storm that they say was caused by a massive solar flare and coronal mass ejection from the sun, and it was observed September 1st and 2nd of 1859, and it was named after Richard Carrington, a British astronomer who saw the solar flare.
Mhm. And it took what, like 17, 18 hours before it actually got to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, which is much faster than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's I don't know. I mean, I run across a lot of people, talking about solar flares and geoelectric things happening. And so far, I mean, nothing like this has even remotely come to pass that I can recall in my lifetime. But now, do you remember something, Morgan?
I was going to say, what was it? Was sometime in the 80s, late 80s, when parts of Canada lost power for like 9-10 hours. I think that's the closest in recorded history that we've come.
Okay.
Because it affected that power grid up there.
Okay. All right.
But it wasn't nearly as intense as the Carrington event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, something like the Carrington event, I mean, that's all bets are off. Unless you're going to be one of these. It really makes you wonder. Whenever you think back to the multi-billionaires who are building these $1 million bunkers, and they've got those things hardened for an EMP or a solar flare or anything like that. And if this event happens, this could be, in a way, this right here could be almost as devastating as a pole shift, if you think about it, because how many people in the country are actually able to survive more than 3 months?
Yeah, not a lot.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's one of those things though. There's no. It's not somebody's mad. It's not, I ticked off your people, you've ticked off mine. This is something nobody will have control over.
No.
I mean,
that, and that's the thing,
Well, and the thing is,
So-
when it happened in 1859, I think the only technology we really had that it could affect was telegrams.
Yes, it was.
we didn't even have an electrical grid then. Because there were a few, small places. I think they had started trying to pull in some electricity, but we didn't have towns lit up or anything. So, and then when you look at too, we have undersea cables going from country to country. We've got rail systems, we've got planes in the air. And with all the noise that's going on right now in the news cycles and everything, would we even hear about it before it happened?
No. More than likely not. It would be to me, that'd be one of those things that's what good would it do? It would pretty much, it would probably cause panic, and that would probably cause people to hurt one another even faster than what they will in the event of we lose the whole grid. I don't know, Tully. Do you think with this right here, I know that you've looked at a lot of the dates and stuff like that, where they just like on the coins, instead of it actually being a 1507 or something like that on the coin for the year, you were actually looking at a letter. So I was just wondering where you may have gone with this when you're looking at something like that.
Well, so there's a friend of mine who used to be on TikTok. You may remember her. Jessica Love, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
We were TikTok buddies talking about this kind of stuff. And she still does have a pretty massive following on TikTok. And I was actually going to try to get her on the show sometime. But she's kind of been reclused. She thinks there's a pole shift coming. Like she's dead set, 100% convinced that a pole shift's coming by like 2050. And she thinks that's why all the elites are building bunkers, and why there's the mess of islands that are named after major cities around Antarctica. And actually over New Year's, I sent that video where there were like 200 billionaires on a big island.
Yeah.
Which is probably, they're probably like hunting people or something.
Right.
But I definitely think there's different groups of people that know things that we don't, and they're just not telling the masses. From all the geomagnetic activity that we've had, imagine up until we've just been through so much crazy stuff. We think about we had the couple huge eclipses, and then all of a sudden, for the first time in our lifetimes anyway, you could see the northern lights all over America.
Yeah. I still have my pictures.
There's not a doubt for me that those were not the northern lights. Like, I don't believe that at all. They didn't look like the northern lights. And the same weekend that was happening, HARP was running tests for, I forget what it even was. It was like they were testing some kind of solar replacement technology or something, if I'm remembering right. But both times that's happened, it's just been like, there was one time where it was only visible on your cell phone camera, and then there was another time where it was just red. And I think that they played that off as the northern lights, but it was really either like testing technology or some event unrelated that they just wanted to cover up. I don't think that was really the northern lights.
All we got were either bright red and bright purple. And I have never seen video or heard anyone that saw them describe those colors.
Yeah.
And my dad was actually in Alaska for 2 years, and that's the first time I ever heard of them, was talking about what they looked like, and it was never red and purple.
No, Crystal, a pole shift would like deface the planet.
Yes. Yeah. And we are overdue for a pole shift. We are also overdue for the Yellowstone caldera by 60,000 years.
Right. I think a pole shift would put the ocean like in Kentucky, and I think it creates like 1,000-mile-an-hour winds when it happens. It takes a while to come back from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, with that right there, there have been different theories as to why the woolly mammoths were frozen instantly. Was that the result of the pole shift, or was it just a catastrophic event with all the water? But some of those
they have happened. You're not dumb. They have happened. They're just saying, it's time. It's getting time for another one.
Yeah, all these things run in cycles. I mean, they just do.
They've happened probably hundreds of times, actually. But it's so few and far between. It only happens, they say, every 200,000 to 300,000 years.
Yeah.
And the last full reversal. So on average, every 200,000 to 300,000 years, and they're saying the last full reversal happened about 780,000 years ago. So we're way overdue for that. But the last one, basically a pole shift could have been what split Pangea. Like it could have been that formed the continents. Is how powerful that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this right here, I just want to go over this. Last year, year before now, since we're in 26, in 24, April the 8th of 24, we had the total solar eclipse that went through my area, and it went over the New Madrid fault line, which is in northeast Arkansas, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, those areas like that. Now, with this right here, would an event like this right here cause all those earthquakes to happen as well?
Well, yeah, I think it's all related. I think all the geomagnetic activities are related.
Well, and that was one of the things too that I was just looking at is they said that if a pole shift were in the process of happening and then we got a Carrington event, which could very well happen, then solar storms are going to hit harder and the currents are going to increase more and everything's going to suffer more damage. So what would be considered a moderate Carrington now would be catastrophic because of the weakened field around the world. Because
do you remember the big thing in the 90s was the ozone?
Yes.
And acid rain and all that. And the ozone's repaired itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just some of this stuff. Like it's been, people wonder why we don't believe anything. And it's because there's just like so many things that are just unbelievable. Like I just think it's crazy.
Right. I mean, to further, just to add more to that, how many times have we seen a celebrity say, if we don't change things up by 1990, the ocean's going to be completely dead? Or
it was frozen at first. Everything was going to be frozen. Yeah. We were going to have the next ice age was coming.
Well, I was kind of looking forward to a day after tomorrow event, to be honest.
Well, that's basically a pole shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you remember in that movie, things were freezing instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like it would go across something and just.
Yep. Helicopters falling out of the sky.
Right.
Yep.
Well, where the woolly mammoths, they find them in they found them in northern Canada. They found them in Russia. And actually, the woolly mammoth lived in a tropical environment prior to that. So that's that'll take us down another rabbit hole if we go that way. But yeah, what I'm saying, with all that stuff that's going to be taking place, though, I mean, it would be absolutely catastrophic to the world. The Amish and the Mennonites, they're going to do okay, but a lot of other people will not.
No. And another thing I wonder, yeah, I know they've got their, bunkers built and everything like that.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. But so they've got their bunkers built and all that, but on a geomagnetic event, are they going to be able to get there? First thing. If you're halfway around the world and you've got a hole dug in Montana with your name on it. But two, if it affects everything, are you going to have the ability to even get in there and be able to get down to your bunker?
I don't know how fast it happens. Like, I'm sure there's signs of like, okay, it's for sure happening.
The Carrington event, they said it was 17 hours from the flare to when everything went to hell.
So they'd have time. You can fly most places in 17 hours on private jets.
Well, on private jets, but it depends on how much trickle through comes through too, and how strong it is, and if we're in the middle of a pole shift.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if they would be able to have like a 24-hour notice on pole shifting. Like, there's got to be signs that lead up, like symptoms of a disease,
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, in 1921, they had an event called the Forgotten Carrington, and said that they could see the aurora almost to the equator. It took down telegraphs and telephones. The railroad signaling stations caught fire, and it disrupted power across the U.S. and Europe. Okay, my stuff.
You cut out there for a minute.
Yeah, it keeps telling me it's not plugged in, and I'm not sure what's going on. So
I can hear you okay now.
Okay.
Maybe the USB's halfway in or something.
it's a Carrington effect, damn it.
Yeah.
But like I said, in 1921, like I said, they had one that railroad signaling stations caught fire when it came through. But, like I said, people don't think about that one because it did not have quite as much of an impact. But it's still, like I said, if you could see the aurora at the equator, that's pretty huge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, with that right there, though, I would think it would be kind of like in the movie Armageddon, if you ever, the old Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah.
The government knew about it. And, the leaders, they opted not to tell the world because of the panic that would take place. Where could they go? How could they get millions of people out in time? Things like that.
I don't even remember what I said. Halfway in? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, Cecil missed one tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, somebody's got to take his place tonight saying inappropriate things.
Yep. So, and the thing is, there are, other, events that have happened that they just haven't been in the modern age because back in, I forget when in the early 2000s, they do the ice core things where they pull those ice cores out of the Arctic and stuff, and tree rings that there was one a couple thousand years ago. So probably around 775, but there were no electronics, so people didn't feel the impact and everything. But they said that go ahead.
I would love to know if when they seen aurora at the equator, if it looked like the legit Northern Lights.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that they possible consequences, because they said there was probably one about 41,000 years ago, and said that some things that they feel like you're going to see when it's a full on pole shift is that mutation rates, that you'll see increased mutation rates. And
Like what? Like what does that mean?
they don't really specify, but they did say that stress on early human populations. They said that there used to be more than one human species.
We've already got lizard people.
That's right.
We've got
But what killed off the Hobbit people? The little small people in Indonesia.
Yep.
Because they've never definitively said, here's what happened.
The human animal hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And it also says that during pole shifts, you see a lot of ozone layer damage.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what we recovered from.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, since for the past 10 to 11,000 years, it's been just an up and down thing where we go through warming up spells, cooling down spells, nothing. The era that we've been living in has probably been the most stable in the last couple hundred years that it's been for the last several thousand.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking we've been bamboozled and that the pole shift is a boogeyman and that it actually just happened maybe like 150 years ago. Because think about the founded places that were covered in mud.
Mm-hmm.
The Great Flood before that, the mud flood. And, I don't know. I guess if that flood event covered what is now America and people had to start back over again in Europe and then make their way back over here,
mm-hmm.
And so obviously some indigenous people were left from the flood,
yes.
But all the places that were buried in mud that they were finding, like pre-World's Fair and stuff, the only way all of that gets covered up with mud is like a pole shift event, or the good Lord opening up the skies and flooding the planet.
Opening up the skies and opening up the depths and letting water come out that way as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a reservoir up at our state capitol. It's man-made and everything. And I forget, I think it was in 1969 when Camille came through. They said that this entire reservoir shifted so that it was like at an angle, and just the I forget what they call them, the reservoir itself, the dam, they were scared it was going to bust because of the shift in it and everything. So imagine, like, say 150, 200 years ago, the Hoover Dam's not that old. I mean,
No.
Is there any structure that's that big existing today from that long ago? So yeah, it would make sense that if you've got all this land and water and stuff moving during a shift, that yes, it would cover everything in mud.
Yeah. Well, I think that we were definitely reset sometime in the or what we perceive as the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been earlier than that, but history is so spotty. We keep finding holes in these stories, like pre 1800. Like even the story of Columbus is just so different than what we're taught in school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to believe anymore. Like pre 1920,
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what to believe because
Yeah.
the victor gets to write the history.
Well, you showed us that video that one time in San Francisco or somewhere out in that part of the country where back in the 1920s, they lifted a block-sized building and moved it.
Yep.
Come on.
And had a fire hot enough to melt stone
Yeah.
in all of these cities.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much like that they expect us to believe.
Mm-hmm.
that don't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Well,
And
here's one that they said I just read. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
In 2012, everything was supposed to end in 2012 per the Mayan calendar and everything. There was a superstorm that missed us by 9 days and said they later confirmed it was a Carrington level event. So had it happened, 7 days earlier, I guess
Yeah.
we could have had.
Right. Well, in other places, I don't know, probably because there are a lot of people doing what Stan Dale does, with looking on Google Earth, and they've actually found melted buildings that look like they've been melted.
Mm-hmm.
Could that not have come from something like the Carrington event? Maybe something even worse.
I think it was a war.
Yeah, it could have been a war.
Yeah, I like to think that before the flood, you probably had what Albert Einstein talked about, like the last world war between the beings and people that were here prior to the flood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably weapons and technology and strength that the world probably won't ever see again. Other than the little bit of technology that we've been given from that era, I think. But if you think about like literal demigods, if you want to call them that,
fallen angels
fighting each other, that'd probably be a spectacle. And some of the power and technology that they were using could probably melt buildings and stone and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's where some of the stuff today comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I have trouble with the thought of us being sticks and stones people, cavemen, and designing a microchip. Like I just have problems with that in my head.
Well,
how it happens so quickly.
There are so many things that if you look back to Plato and Aristotle and Homer and all of these people from antiquity describing things and describing events from, say, Atlantis, or from Da Vinci showing pictures of flying stuff. I've got a great imagination. You probably would not, most people would not survive in my head. But that aside, I don't think that people just came up with this and said, oh, wow, there was this land and it had this, and that. They wouldn't even have a basis of comparison had they not seen something firsthand.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think that, yes, we were much more technologically advanced at some point? Yeah, I really do. I can't say specifically.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm going to find this video.
Uh-huh.
Not the Waffle House dancing video, but something a little bit different.
You should, next time you go to Waffle House, Toby, you should see if you could get that trend going where you stand up and dance until somebody else stands up and dances with you.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh,
Lord.
That would be good. Yeah. That's a shame thought.
You may have dated a caveman, Landa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's the thing. Like I said, do I think that I would be just thrilled without technology? No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't get to hang out with you guys. And that is a true statement. That's not just me being an ass,
This isn't going to have audio.
Okay.
Unless you're echoing. I don't.
No, I'm not. I'm not. It must be Cecil.
Okay, just watch the Zoom on this.
Mm-hmm.
Keep watching the Zoom. And tell me if you think we did this.
Oh, wow.
You tell me if you think sticks and stones caveman people evolved to be able to do this. Is literally like looking at
A city,
I-
within a city, within a city, within a city.
yeah, it's like an atom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we were given this.
Yes. Yeah. No
I think you
doubt.
underestimate us, Tully. I think that we did that in the last 50 years.
Well, think about it though. And they try to explain that away too, that we just exploded.
Mm.
And really, since World War II, all of this stuff happened. And you know that the one dude was looking for aliens and technology and witchcraft and everything he could to try to get an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he found it.
Yeah.
And it could have been, I don't know, something locked in a cave somewhere. I don't know.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that necessarily, because I mean, that's possible. That could be possible. It's but think back to the ritual that Jack Parson was doing in the desert and the contact that he made.
You think they're
And
tapping into it like metaphysically?
I'm thinking they actually got to meet up with some, I don't know, some people may want to call them aliens. I'm always going to refer to them as fallen angels, but I believe this right here is fallen angel technology. So this is that's where I go with this.
That
and
was
when they
just zoomed in on one.
wanted to, yeah, that's just on one chip, right?
One little speck on a chip, just one little colored speck on a chip.
That's crazy. Yeah. So, but with that right there, with Jack Parsons and them, he was also out there, with L. Ron Hubbard was also out there with him, in the desert when they were doing the rituals. And they started receiving some of this technology and stuff. And whenever they thought that they wanted to break it off, well, they couldn't, because we had the Cold War going on. So we had to have more technology than what Russia had,
Mm-hmm.
So it was a never-ending thing that continues to go. Earlier y'all were talking about the how the Pentagon has failed 8 budgets in a row, 8 years in a row. They failed their budgets.
Mm-hmm.
On December 17th, it was passed by both houses, a $900 billion budget for the Pentagon, for the military. Yeah.
And
So-
our soldiers don't make jack, so I know it's not going to damn payroll.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
One little speck. There's the speck. We lost the speck. And there's the whole chip. Nobody will ever convince me that we made that. I'm sorry. I could give you all the parts to make that, and you still couldn't make it. You know what I mean? Like if you had the raw materials today and you had all the machines and you got trained for 2 years, you might be able to tell a machine how to make that, but you yourself are not going to be able to make it.
No, because there's nothing you can do that is small enough to do that.
Mhm.
There's just not.
Like as a human, you would not only have to conceptualize that structure, which is super complex, you would have to conceptualize a machine that would allow you to build that structure, which is a whole other problem. Like I think that technology was handed, Landa, to us by something.
Yeah.
My husband told me the same thing about me this morning, Landa.
Maybe I've just been on one lately, but I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Yeah. Well, I agree. No, I don't think just Steve Jobs came up with that. No.
Yeah, I don't think the world's most intelligent person could sit down and conceptualize that.
Mm-hmm.
No, Tesla didn't even Well, we don't know what all Tesla had in his notes, but I don't. As far as we know, Tesla didn't even
Now-
cover microchips, did he?
Am I saying that humans aren't capable of amazing and insane things? Absolutely not. I think we've built things that can bend time space and read minds and do all the stuff, but some of that is with the help of foreign technology. So, are
Yeah.
we really good as a species at using tools? Absolutely.
Yes,
Are we
are.
always the ones that make the tools? No, maybe lightning struck and created the first hammer by accident. You just never know. Like I think that we have been given tools throughout history, including fire,
Mhm.
from the heavens and otherwise.
Yeah, I agree with Landa 100%. The aliens are not going to be giving us all of this stuff to benefit humanity.
Not for free.
You're never going to convince me that a fallen angel loves a human being. I really figured that they would wipe us out if they possibly could.
But if you say, okay, you give us this, and within 25 years, we'll have total surveillance, total listening capabilities, viewing capabilities on every human being on the planet.
Yep.
And we can ant farm them into energy. Like that's basically at this point, the United States is becoming one big battery.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But go back to the videos, we watched a couple shows ago. They don't see a future for humanity. The people who are at the upper levels of this right here, the World Economic Forum, and other groups.
Who was that
Thought
guy?
were
We
wrong.
watched a video where the dude was like, we don't need as many humans as what we have on the planet right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That guy is Yuval Noah Harari.
Fallen angels and Nephilim Nephilim are the bastards of fallen angels. Crystal.
Yeah, they're the half breeds. So that's what that was. And if you want to look it up, to everybody that's listening, I mean, just look at the Greek mythology. Those were the gods. Those were the fallen angels. Those were the gods with the little g's. That's what they were. That's what the Romans worshipped. That's what ancient people worshipped. They were all fallen angels. I
think you probably wouldn't have had a choice, though. Like physically, we would have been much weaker.
Oh yeah.
And maybe even some of them may have even been able to perform miracles from what we've heard from Stan.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of the divine in you. Like they still had that.
Right. They would have had that spark, but it's but to me, but just like we talked about, was it last week, the last show last week, we talked about it. And what's the whole point and purpose of having all this AI technology, of having all these supercomputers and everything, if the goal is to not to be able to read the thoughts and influence the people in any and every way that you want to do it? From that aspect of it, I mean, a lot of good can come from computers. I mean, I met y'all, and this is wonderful. But with this right here, I mean, what's the end going to be with all of this technology? Self-destruction?
Well, it's not about money because they're already rich.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not about money.
They don't need money. Like these people are billionaires. You got to think like a millionaire is closer to us than they are a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like billionaires don't view people with millions of dollars as even in their same lane of existence.
Nope.
No, they're not.
And the people doing this are billionaires and trillionaires.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big ones, you never hear their name. They're just hunting people on an island, probably. All jokes. I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sure.
What goes on.
Yeah. Jokes.
Joking. But I think once you get that much money, you want to try to do something that nobody else can do, like that, because you can buy everything in the world, but you have to start like getting creative on how can I have fun anymore.
I was gonna say, yeah, because it's all about self-gratification. Because here's what you could do with billions of dollars: end world hunger.
Yeah, but
but that's not fun. How much fun is that?
If you're a selfish person, and
you've
got billions or trillions of dollars, and you're just like, you know what? I've bought everything that I've wanted to buy, including, with that much money, you can buy people. Like
I've blown up 14
people's love.
I've blown up 14 penile shaped rockets.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. So
yeah, I've took a sub to the bottom of the ocean and imploded it. You've really got to get creative. It's like it's almost like addicts. Like you hear about like sex addicts who have to like hang themselves to feel anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's
who was
like
that actor who was that actor that did that?
David Carradine.
David Carradine. That was it.
Yep.
That was him.
So it's almost like you're playing the game. You've beat the game. There's nothing left to do except see how extreme you can get with stuff. And it's like, what can I do that nobody's ever done before to the extreme? And I think that's what the infrastructure that's going into place right now is. It's like, what can I do? Like horrors beyond human comprehension. Like, how can I be that? Like,
yeah.
And that's what those people are to me. Like, and you may not agree with that.
No, because to be honest with you, the whole Hunger Games concept that was brought up recently. I'm going to get the top 2 performers from every state, and we're going to have a big competition. I mean, I don't know if you've read the Hunger Games, but that's pretty much what it is, these people, fight to the death to see who's the best. And when you start talking about doing that's it's scary, because what are you going to require? And then where does it go from there? How many people do you start doing lotteries? Because, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? Okay, well, we're going to draw your name.
I would almost rather be in a forward facing situation like that, where it's like, okay, it's going down and it's like you have a clear enemy instead of us getting slowly poisoned and used as cattle for a healthcare system and a society that it literally leeches from us.
Oh yeah.
I would rather be in a forward facing situation where it's like, okay, you have a sword and a chance and here we go. Like I would rather be in that scenario than to be poor, sickly, and leached on until finally somebody dumps you in a healthcare facility that is also ran by taxpayer money. Like I just it's crazy. It's like horrible.
And that's the thing though, is at what point, and I realize that we're conspiracy theorists, but at what point do people start looking at this and realizing that this is real life? I mean, how many times have we said it's them and us, not left and right? It's haves and have-nots. Yeah. They don't give a crap.
Like football,
huh?
Politics is just like football, or like
wrestling,
and
sports, wrestling.
Right. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Backstage at the wrestling competition, But I mean, most people you cannot convince of that. They're, oh no, these people care about me. No, they don't. If they cared about you, we would all be doing great right now.
I think you have to have a certain intelligence level to even be able to think about like outside of the indoctrination. Because you get indoctrinated on this stuff early.
Yeah. So that right there, the point you were making a while ago, I mean, they've got all the money. They don't need more money. they've got money. The one thing that the money always provided for them was power. Well, what's going to be a greater power than actually controlling people?
That's it. That's it. They're basically playing like, you remember Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you're just above everybody and you're just watching the peons do things and seeing how you can maximize profits and get them to influence and start wars or whatever.
Do you know what I actually thought about? Did you ever see the movie Rat Race?
It's been a long time ago, but yes.
But yeah, that's what it was. You know, a handful of people got a winning ticket, and whoever got to the end got the big pot of money. And there were all of these mega rich guys doing side bets on, ooh, I bet you we can get him to do that. And, ooh, I bet you we can get him to do that. And that's a very accurate scenario.
I think that's how you end up with, like, I don't know if we've talked a little bit about red rooms on the dark web. If you don't know what a red room was or is, probably, I'm sure it's still happening. So on the dark web, for extremely rich people, they could get on and imagine it'd just be somebody filming, and it would be a live stream, and they'd be like, okay, for X amount of money, I'll do this to this person. And they'd be like walking up behind people with like knobs and stuff and being like, okay, highest bidder in the next 5 minutes, and I'll do whatever you want to this person. And like it's just like the movie. If you go watch the first Hostel, it's just like that. Hey, Lisa.
Or hey, Lisa, or Black Mirror, the last season.
Yeah,
the guy, was okay. How much will you pay me to do this? And
except the red rooms were like they have somebody strapped to a table and they've got a chainsaw, like those type of situations.
Absolutely.
So I think when you've got that much money, it's like, what can I do with this money that is something like a brand new experience? And I think once you reach that level, it's just like we were saying, like you gotta get creative.
Well, that's a very dear person to me. Once upon a time, we were talking about Epsteinish situations, and I'm like, there's just, to me, a certain line you can't cross. If you cross that line, you should die. End of story. No questions. Just take it out. And his remark, and it broke my heart because I'm like, I really would have thought more of you. He's like, but why would a person with that much money want a child when he could have a grown woman? And I'm like, that's the whole point. They have the money that they could have whatever they want without repercussion and without consequences. So it's not that, oh, I can have a grown woman. It's, well, I can have a little boy or a little girl.
And if you've got sick people who are the only ones playing ball, they're only going to let other sick people achieve those levels of
depravity.
Fortune.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Lisa, Westworld's close. Like I would say Westworld, we're probably 15 years away from a Westworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're already, I don't know if you listen regularly, but they have robots now that can walk identical to humans. Like it's like 2 steps away from figuring out a good looking skin. And then you stick an AI in their head, like it.
But with the population and the mindset and everything, why would somebody with those funds want a Westworld when they can have real people?
Well, Westworld would be for it would be the slop that they would give us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be the slop that they gave us.
That's right.
You can go to McDonald's in Westworld and spend a bunch of money on robot attention and get a meal and escape your life for 30 minutes.
Right. Or even, hey, maybe that's your gateway drug for those that have not crossed that line quite yet. I'll go to
Yeah.
Westworld and kill off a couple of women and, a couple of guys. And okay, I'm ready for the stuff now.
There was a dude. I actually saw this on YouTube. I probably should. I don't know if it was recent, but there was a dude I saw on YouTube that was arrested for image prompting illegal things
Uh-huh.
and got caught with it on his wife caught it on his phone and reported it to the police. And the police was like, "Oh, we have no idea how to even handle this because we're talking about like a theoretical person. There's no like victim."
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up charging him, which I think was the right move. Like if you're doing that, you're one step away from actually doing something to some kid or something.
Right, because it wasn't too long ago, we're talking about the guy that got arrested for ordering child dolls, and everything. And that was another thing, was like, well, at least it wasn't kids, but there's that line. Again.
I don't think that we need a minority report where it's like they arrest you because of your probability of committing a crime.
Right.
But, if you're Googling steps on how to do something and you're spotted around these places.
Yeah.
I think something needs to happen. Like
because you're not but a step or so from that. Like I said, when you start ordering the dolls and looking up the steps, you need to be stopped before you take that final step.
If you're AI prompting illegal pictures and then you're caught around minors and stuff, that's the ethical dilemma here. I don't believe that people should be arrested for thought crimes. But to me, the prompting of those pictures is evidence that was going to happen. Like that's your evidence.
That's just a gateway there. To look at what Lisa put in there in the chat, thinking we're all AI. If we were, how would we know?
We might be a little speck in that microchip.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's how our cities look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at first, before I realized what you were showing us, I thought we were on Google Maps.
Yeah, it looks like the top of a building.
Yeah.
And
here's your other thing. Okay, and circling back around to an event. So you don't have computers, you don't have electricity, you don't have all the things we're used to having. At what point do the haves fall right back into where we're at? Because at the end of the day, if somebody shows up at your house, what was it, The Purge, I think, where one night a year you could take people out?
Yeah.
So at what point does somebody decide, okay, there's somebody, that lives in this big mansion over here, I'm going to go take them out? Because you're only as protected as you can make yourself. Well, and in a world damning scenario, because I know that like a lot of these people who have these bunkers have other people guarding it. And we've talked about this. Do you think I'm going to keep my family out and let yours in if I've got the gun and I'm protecting it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think part of that too is like perceived value that we were talking about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Once your money doesn't mean anything, then you're just a human like everybody else.
Exactly. And unfortunately for you, and I say this very tongue in cheek, I am better prepared for that life than a billionaire is.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of people like that.
Exactly. Like I said, I may not survive any and every scenario, but I'm in a good position to be able to take care of me and mine. Just because of upbringing and then the skills and stuff that I have learned and taught myself or prepared for. So, of course, we may end up in a cave in
Here we go.
Yeah, my Waffle House doesn't look nearly that great. Hey,
What's
Larry.
up, Larry? Larry, we've been droning on for 2 hours, man.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was we did a deep dive last night into the Killdozer incident. And
Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Sheb. Hey, Teach.
what's up, Shelby?
But you
yeah,
can
Stevie's-
go watch the
Stevie's at my
Killdozer
house tonight.
episode.
Yeah, it actually, a lot of our stuff gets pretty consistent views. I think it must have been where yesterday was the first. Nobody was around. Just
Oh, yeah.
Landa and Crystal and Jenny, but that may be our least watched episode on Rumble ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would have been here, but my husband was home for the first time in 2 weeks, and I kind of felt an obligation to hang out with him. But
yeah, it was last night, Larry. We did about an hour and a half just documenting it, played some footage and stuff. You can go back and check it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had to work late yesterday, so I didn't get to join.
Ooh, Crystal calling you out, Tully.
What? No, no. I'm saying on Rumble, we usually get pretty consistent views. Like we get like 100, 200 views on an episode usually after the fact, like after we get done. And I think as of starting the show, that episode had only gotten like 30 views. So that's just that's low compared to normal. Yeah, for Rumble. I've written off YouTube. We had like 1,000 followers show up overnight on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And I truly believe Cecil was looking into it. They made a change on their censorship. And I think that it just snapped to what it really was. Because after the Flat Earth Dave episode, we had a ton of views and our followers never went up any. And then Cecil has also pointed out sometimes, like, we've got all these people here right now, like at least 4, 5, 6 people. And sometimes after the fact, even though everybody's watching, YouTube will say we've got like 1 view. So there's definitely some YouTube. So I use Rumble as more of a true pulse on how many people kind of watch and then who pops in on Twitter. Like tonight, we've had about 433 people pop in. And, you guys don't see that. That's why we turn on the chat so that if somebody does show up from different places, like the dude that was here from Kick last week, you guys can see him in the comments. Because there's even in the 434, that doesn't include Rumble viewers. It doesn't include Facebook viewers. What's up, Alan?
Hey,
but yeah, it's spread out. I don't even think the count includes Kick viewers, but
it's very limited on what it shows because I just assumed everybody could see what everybody was commenting on until we started turning on that chat window.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's definitely different.
I saw Landa. I like that.
He said he wants you to help him get the Rumble viewership up, Landa, because it's your favorite platform.
Start reposting on Rumble. We'll get the crazy people in the comments. But yeah, Rumble is really like a true, like I can tell when things pop off, when they don't pop off, because it's like censorship free. And I think that's why a lot of crazy people travel there.
Right.
Rumble and BitChute are kind of similar in a lot of ways.
Only BitChute can't comment yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can't.
They can't comment at all. They have to. They can leave comments, but they can't comment live.
Yes,
right.
Because we don't go live on there anymore because it was killing our live streams. It's just not good. They don't. Their technology isn't up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Crystal, Rumble is a censorship free version of YouTube, and you can imagine what that looks like. But we do stream there. Yeah.
Yeah, but the ones that are really fun are the BitChute people, though. That's where we get the most unique comments.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely find some interesting stuff on Rumble other than us. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Larry's asking if you got new lighting, Morgana, or is
I
it?
actually turned on light. See, normally it's more like that. Well, no, I don't know.
It's usually a lot darker.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's the backlighting because Mo's in the other room. I don't know.
Maybe it's that.
Yeah. So
I'm definitely darker than that because I can't turn my lava lamps on. I'm working on one of them. I've gotten it clear, but I'm waiting on a capper. Like that's a problem with this is a whole rant. Schilling, the maker of lava lamps, they started making their they offshored their processing.
Mm-hmm.
So all the lava lamps are now coming from like China, and because of that, they can be very, very cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's ways to clear them up. And
Gotcha.
I filtered this one and did not have a capper that would work to recap it.
Gotcha.
Because the smaller ones take like a regular like bottle cap lid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got Mo one for Christmas because of you.
Well, there was I've got 1, 2, 3, and there's a fourth one, and I've got a fifth one, but I'm gonna need like a piece of furniture back here to put them on.
Yes, you were looking at one that you said you wanted about halfway up.
Yeah, I want something that'll sit like below all of the,
Mm-hmm.
because you'd really be able to see them like right here.
Yeah.
But
now,
I've got
one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The one that I've got that you guys have never seen is a 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the wizard stars in the base.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Now I found one and it was just one of those things I just kind of tripped across, and it had blue. The liquid is blue and the blob is like neon green.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like his two favorite colors. And I'm like, I think he'll like that.
This one that I'm working on,
mm-hmm.
This is just the lamp.
Uh-huh.
It's pink,
uh-huh.
pink liquid and white lava.
Uh-huh.
And I wish I would have showed it to you before I filtered it, because you couldn't see in there at all. Like it was completely blasted from the trip from China.
Gotcha. And this one, it's actually clear, because I remembered you saying something about, they weren't always clear, but this one, I mean, it's beautiful blue water through it. And I did not know, because when it came in, I was like, the bulb was busted. And I'm like, of course it was, so then I had to order bulbs, but yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Collecting them, I've had to become like a de facto expert in what makes them up. Yeah, that'll do it, Landa.
It never crossed my mind to shake one.
You think so? What a lava lamp is? It's wax. It is distilled water. Well, it depends. Like after 1980s, it's wax, distilled water, and surfactant, which is a chemical that makes soap foam up.
Mm-hmm.
And the surfactant acts as a lubricant. And basically, they coat the inside of the bottle with surfactant before they put the water in. So they put their surfactant, then wax, then water, and then add more surfactant to the water, because the surfactant changes how the lava behaves.
Okay.
So if you want the big blobs, you got to really like hone it in. But if you put too much in, that's where it looks like you shook it up, or it's just little bitty,
The little tiny
beads.
bubbles.
Yeah.
I've seen those before, but I didn't realize that was why.
Yep. And even though they're capped, these things breathe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So over 30 years of running them, you may lose some of your water and or chemicals that change the behavior of the lava lamp.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to tune them up sometimes.
Yeah.
So that one, Landa, I would probably have to do like a full recovery operation of the fluid. But they sell kits. There's a company called Lava Labs that sell kits to redo the fluid in them, because there's a whole Reddit group dedicated to just lava lamps.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you still had it though, Landa, you could send it to Tully and he could fix it.
Oh yeah, I could totally fix it.
Yep.
And that's, some of them are worth a lot of money. If you can find the 60s, 70s versions, those lava lamps are like $200, $300, $400.
Yep.
Really?
And when I go to the flea market, I always look around for them. If I ever find an old one, I'm shipping it to Cincinnati, sort of. We're close. But, and I'm not even going to tell you. I'm probably going to say, damn it, Tully, what's your address? but yeah, if I ever find one, unless it's like $600, and then I'm just going to have to let it go.
Yeah. Well, that's why the new ones suck, Landa, is because they're having to travel a lot further and they're not as clear. And they don't tune in the chemicals like they used to. Pretty basic chemicals. They used to be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So like pre-1980s, the chemicals were actually poisonous and toxic. But now it's just, surfactant is probably like you definitely don't want to drink it, but the majority of the liquid is distilled water these days.
Okay. That made me think of something. I saw a chart the other day, and it was you saying you can't drink it that made me think about it. It's a chemical chart, the standard, with all the elements and stuff. And it's broken down by colors, and it's like green, yellow, red, and something else. And at the top it goes, "Can I lick it?" And the ones in red you can't lick. Like, who came up with this shit? But yeah, that's right.
It is like thermometers.
Yeah, and they still. Can you even buy a standard thermometer anymore?
Not like a mercury. I mean, you'd have to. I don't know if they sell new mercury thermometers anymore. But I think one of the things they were using in the old lava lamps was the equivalent of like brake fluid.
Ooh. You can still buy them, even though they are banned in some states, like California, Connecticut, Illinois, Minnesota, Oregon, and Washington. None of those surprised me. But you usually have to get them from specific places, like Amazon.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes. You can still get one. I'm just sure they can't ship it to certain places, though, if they're not legal there.
That's called intrusive thoughts, Landa.
Right? Oh, yes. I can remember my mom telling me, do not bite down. Do not bite down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have went as far as we can.
Yeah.
That's
with
right.
with the Carrington event tonight.
And the thing is, guys, it could happen tomorrow.
It could.
I mean, the reality is, because like I said, there was nothing that said it's building up to this. from everything I've read while we've talked and everything, the one in 1921 nor the one in 1989 showed anything that built up to it. It just happened.
It could be tomorrow. It could be 10,000 years from now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't forget to follow us. If you've made it this late in the show and you don't already follow us, thank you, Landa.
Yes.
And we will be back next week. It's already 2026.
It is.
And we're gonna be heavyweight heavy this year. Like we've got some crazy topics. I don't know what next week is.
Next week is Africa.
Oh,
It doesn't sound crazy, but I guarantee
I
it's gonna be
guarantee-
crazy.
I would love if we could get your dude that he was supposed to come on once before and something happened. But
Yeah, it's tough to
yeah,
lock him down.
yeah, it is. It is. It does feel like 2036, Landa, or we just feel old. It's one or the other.
Well, yeah, Landa, you wouldn't have been around yet. You might have not even known us whenever we were talking to this guy. We had a guest a couple times on from South Africa, and he was a paranormal investigator and one of the leading people about the Mandela effect, because he lives close to Nelson Mandela's grave.
Mhm.
And he was talking to us about that and places that he investigates around Africa. He talked about illegal black markets where you could buy, maybe things that are made from us for
Mhm.
rituals and stuff.
mhm.
It was crazy. It was some crazy conversations with him.
Yep. I
But-
never got to talk to him, but I did listen to some y'all had recorded when I was building up to your show.
Yeah, I'll have to see if he's even doing anything anymore. It's been probably 3-4 years since we talked to him or more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's been a minute because we've been doing this for 4 years. With all of us
That's
together.
crazy.
Yep. With all 4 of us together, it's been 4 years
Wow.
this month.
It doesn't feel like that long.
Sometimes it feels like 12 years.
Yeah, that's true.
It just depends on the day. It depends on the day. But hey, that's all right. There's nowhere else I'd rather hang out at.
Yeah, we'll have to get some guests. I'll get some guests lined up, Landa. Landa said she's tired of seeing us all the time.
I know.
She needs somebody new.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound like a man. Oh, a mom. I might be one of those, Landa. Just
All right.
maybe.
On that note, we're out. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you
Yes.
next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Until then.